So this is going to be our demo for blending, layering, and shading with chalk pastels. Yesterday we covered the charcoal ones. This is similar to the charcoal techniques that we did, but now we're going to be doing it with colors. Today we are going to be trying it with two colors, so I'm using purple and light blue. You're choosing whatever two colors that you want for the chalk pastels. Again, as a reminder, the chalk pastels are really messy, so they do get all over. Make sure with the dust that comes out that you are tapping it and onto a paper towel or tapping it in the trash can. When you pick it up, you'll want to grab your paper from both sides gently and kind of curve it and then flip it over and tap it into your bucket or on your paper towel. Again, make sure that dust, because we don't want it going everywhere, that we're only tapping it. If you swipe it with your hand, you're going to get it all over your paper, and if you blow it, it's going to get all over the place. So just pick it up, tap it on a paper towel, or tap it into your trash bucket. We're going to start with our layered box. So because I'm doing layered and I have two colors, I want to blend these together. So how this is going to do, I'm just going to start with my lightest color first with chalk pastels, so I don't want to dirty up my lightest color. And I'm using this side, so that flat side, to go in and put a layer on. So one single layer of light blue. And I am taking my time. I am barely pressing down. Y'all, the chalk pastel, the pigment will come off really easily. You don't have to apply really any pressure at all. And then I'm going to come back with my purple layer. And that way I get this nice, really cool kind of purpley blue layer. And I'm not blending this one together. This one's just going to be layered just like that. If you want to, try the bottom, adding one more layer, going across half of it, to see the difference between 2 layers compared to 4 layers. So again, all this chalk residue that I have, I need to tap onto a paper towel. So this top half right here is just a single layer of blue, single layer of purple. This bottom half was another layer of blue, another layer of purple. You can see the difference between the values between the two. Once you're ready, again, skip over the Q-tip one since we still need to purchase Q-tips, and go to the tissue one. So start with a single layer of each right on top of each other. Single layer of purple, or whichever color you're using for your second color. And then I'm going to come back with my paper towel or a tissue for your nose. The paper towel will give you a more rough blending, whereas tissue for your nose, like a Kleenex, will give you more soft blending. So wrapped around my finger, the flatter part will cover a broader area. I can use like the tip of my finger or the edge to get more precise smudging. Yes, we're smudging this together. So soft little circles, then blending. The paper towel will pick up some of that pigment. But it's also going to blend my two colors together. Try to get this nice light purple color. And then tap onto a paper towel. And you can move on to your next one, which is the finger. So again, start with your lightest color first. And you can always come back with a light color on top of a dark color. It is easier to start lighter and work your way darker though. And then again, use a finger. Y'all, I'm trying to keep as many of my fingers clean as possible and just trying to keep like my left 3 dirty. Because if you have too many fingers that are dirty, you're going to end up getting fingerprints all over your paper. Or kind of like getting your clothes dirty, getting the table dirty. Just makes more of a mess. So you'll notice that with the finger one compared to the finger to the tissue, because we don't have that piece of tissue on us, which kind of picks up a lot of the pigment, we're going to have a softer blend, and there's going to be a little bit more color to this one than the other one. And then you can move down to feathering. I'm just going to use one color for this one. And remember with feathering, you can use the corner or the full edge. The full edge will get you a longer line. Barely press down. So little to no pressure is needed. Again, those are different shading techniques that we've already learned about. And then you can also do your cross hatching. And with cross hatching, if you want to try the second color mixed with it, you can. So cross hatching is vertical and horizontal lines. And that's how you can build up different textures, different colors, different tones, different values. Especially textures. So if you want to have something that has lots of texture, you want to use like stippling, scumbling, cross hatching, rather than like the tonal or the blending ones. And then once you got those, you can do your scumbling. So scumbling was that edge and just taking it and kind of rotating it around. The less you do it, the lighter the value looks. The more you do it, or the closer it is, the darker the value is. And of course, your stipple at the very end. I remember when stippling, barely press down again because the chalk will break easily. And I try to make one side go from light to dark. So as I go down, I'm trying to get darker and darker and add more and more dots. And once you finish the value or the shading techniques, you can do your side strokes. So remember with side strokes, you want to try light to dark. I'm going to try a single color first, and then on the other side, I'm going to try layering the colors right on top of each other. So again, your flat edge, barely press down and drag the chalk pastel. The next one, press down a little bit more firm. And y'all, when doing this, you want to hold the chalk pastel closer to the edge. So don't hold it further back, because when pressing further back, you press down, it's applying too much pressure to the middle, it's going to snap. So hold it closer down, and so that way you can apply more pressure without worrying that it's going to break all the time. So there's one layer, and then I'm going to do a combo layer. So I'm going to layer these right on top of each other. And then once you get those side strokes done, go ahead and move on to your sphere, cylinder, and cube. Keep in mind, I want you to try using both colors for these. So determine which color would be your lightest color. So for me, which color would be my lightest color? The light blue. Okay, so purple would be my darker color, almost like my shadow. So I'd want to start with my light blue, or my lightest color that I'm using. And I'm going to go ahead and do one single layer. Then I'm going to start coming back in with my purple. And I'm going to come in from the bottom, coming around, since I know my shadow would be down here since my light source is up top. And come back with a little bit more light blue. And then I'd want to blend. So it's up to you on how you want to blend, but I'm going to blend with my finger for this one. And when you blend, you can always come back and add more pastel. So if you need it even darker in an area, add even more. Until you got a nice tonal shading. And then what else do we need when we do forms? A shadow, cast shadow. So come in here, nice and dark. And this would be a good opportunity to add even like a third color. So maybe like a dark brown on top of your darker color, or some black, just to emphasize that shadow. And I'm gonna do that little bit of chalk, and then I'm gonna spread it out with my fingers so it makes a nice cast shadow. And then because I have all that extra chalk, tap it on a paper towel. And then I have this really nice sphere with 2 tones, so 2 different colors going on. And then I want y'all to do the same thing for your cylinder and your cube. So again, starting with your lighter colors first, and then coming back with your dark colors. The more you practice with the material, the easier it gets as you move on in that with the art. So if you want, you can actually buy some of these at home and practice at home. I'm going to upload this one, but there's also a lot of other videos with different techniques that you can try just to improve your skills or hone in on your techniques a little bit more. So blend, blend, blend. And remember, when we do our final one, we will be using kneaded erasers to kind of pick up and clean up the edges a bit so they're not as blurred out and they're more refined. And then a cast shadow, of course. And my cube. And again, don't forget about your cast shadow. And if you want to try a different shading technique other than the tonal ones, like one like the scumbling, stippling, cross hatching, you can on those shapes. And again, once we actually do our final project, you'll come back with a kneaded eraser. A kneaded eraser starts off dark gray, but when you pull it and stretch it, it activates the kneaded eraser, so it's building up that kinetic energy and becomes a little loose and stretchy to where you can kind of manipulate it and point it and shape it to how you need. So I'm kind of shaping it into a little bit more of a line so I can come along in here and kind of clean up my edges a little bit. So you'll be doing this when you get your final one. Don't worry about it today since we're just doing a practice. And then we have our pastel techniques, and then we'll be moving on to value here in a moment to practice in our sketchbooks.